Hey everyone, welcome back. This is something that's been a long time in the making, and that's just because I love the Kingdom Hearts series so much. So it was only natural that I was going to do a collection video on it someday. And to be perfectly frank with you guys, I was kind of debating in my head if I wanted to do this collection video because my Kingdom Hearts collection is quite small. But when I took a step back and thought about how much the series means to me, I knew I had to do it. And I also thought about it and realized that one reason why the collection could be small is just because there are not as many games as something like the Legend of Zelda series or Final Fantasy. So let's not drag this video out and let's go ahead and get into the collection itself. I'm gonna just talk about this hoodie really quick. This is something that I got at Hot Topic of all places. I actually don't really like shopping at Hot Topic, but they had this kind of sweater when Kingdom Hearts 3 was a thing, and I just knew I had to get it. Not because it was accurate to the actual costume from Kingdom Hearts. People have done that, and also people have done that quite a bit better, but this is a pretty affordable option. And honestly, the thing that sold to me was just the zipper at the bottom being able to come up like that. Really made you feel like, you know, one of the organization 13 members maybe on a Saturday on his day off or something. That's just the first thing in the collection that I want to talk about. Reason being is that it's 91 degrees and there's no way I'm going to be wearing this the entire time. So that's a lot better. I feel like I can actually breathe. Again, it's really hot today, so I didn't want to wear that sweater the entire time, but I did want to show it off to you guys really quick. Let's go ahead and get into the game collection itself. So I thought about how to talk about the series, and I thought I might as well go through each game in order of release date. If you talk to any Kingdom Hearts fan, they will tell you that the best way to play the series is by release date. Do not play 1, 2, 3 and then play all the side games. That is a grave mistake. If you actually play every single game in order, I genuinely believe it's not that hard to figure out. Every other long-running video game franchise, at least that I could think of, has a different story for each single game, like the Zelda series. Every Zelda game is going to be quite different from the last, and every Final Fantasy game is going to try to reinvent itself. Kingdom Hearts is a long-running series, and it honestly just evolves. It doesn't necessarily tries to reinvent itself with each iteration, but that's something I still personally like, and it all started with Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, as you can see here, I don't have the actual Kingdom Hearts 1 for PS2 because I didn't grow up with the PS2, I grew up with the GameCube. I did grow up with the PS3, and I was able to get Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix. The titles are only going to get more confusing here, so like hold on to your boots. So the great thing about this particular title is that it came with an art book and everything. I really like that because it was kind of the first time we got to see Sora with other designs that were like preconceived by Nomura, and we actually got to learn a little bit about Nomura's like mental state when creating the games. It didn't go in depth as say like the Ultimanias would have, but it was kind of still cool to get something like this. My only complaint honestly is that the game itself is actually in the art book, so in order to play like 1.5, it's kind of again stuck within the art book, and it's kind of a little bit weird. But the art book is not too long. You can tell this is during the time where Square Enix was trying to really go all out with their like special edition art books and all this stuff. This wasn't really a thing with Square Enix way back in the day, but I think around a certain point they realized they can make a lot of money off of art books and kind of these nice little deluxe special edition game collection things. This collection includes Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, which is the first one I played, and a movie compilation of 358 over 2 days. Now, one of my biggest complaints with this is that Kingdom Hearts 1, great. It's a great remaster. There's some issues with the PS3 version that is later fixed in like newer versions, but the actual, you know, PS3 version, not too bad. Chain of Memories, it's the PS2 version, so we'll talk about that in a bit and what that means because the original one was on the Game Boy Advance. And story-wise, nothing really changes, but the graphics had a major overhaul. But my biggest issue with this is that 358 over 2 days. It's just a movie it's a cutscene movie, and there's a lot of missing cutscenes in that movie, and a lot of missing context for certain scenes. Now you can still get probably emotionally invested in the, you know, cutscene movie and all that stuff, but nothing really invests you in characters like actually playing the game or actually watching through cutscenes of them interacting with each other outside of the tower with the same 5 tracks that keep playing in this cutscene movie. That being said, my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 1, it's a great start to the series. I love Kingdom Hearts 1, however, I can agree that the platforming wasn't the best. The combat wasn't actually that bad. I actually played it recently, and going back to Kingdom Hearts 1 wasn't actually that terrible until you got to like the Tarzan world, but every other world, honestly, not the worst thing in the world, and I can actually get through it just fine, and I can still have a good time. The story's pretty simple enough. It takes a little bit to get going once you're on Destiny Islands, but once you get past that, you're fine. Quick thoughts on Chain of Memories. This is the Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memories. Now this was something I got recently, so you didn't see it in my Game Boy Advance collection video, but I had recently got this complete box, original packaging of Chain of Memories for the Game Boy Advance. This Game Boy Advance version has some of the best looking sprites that I've seen on the Game Boy Advance, and it was a great way to reinterpret Sora and his friends on like a classic 2D kind of battlefield thing. Now the only thing I don't like about it is the gameplay and the card system, but that's not because I don't like card games per se, it's just because the cards that you drop to progress in the game are randomized, so that makes playing the game kind of frustrating. However, what got me into the game and the series was just the complex story and the characters that were going along in it. I got to kind of revisit some of Sora's memories from Kingdom Hearts 1, so I didn't have to necessarily replay that, but as you know, there's a character named Naminé in this game that actually messes with Sora's memories and kind of plucks herself into his memories, so it kind of confused me. And honestly, if this is your first Kingdom Hearts game, you're kind of viewing things in the eyes of Sora. Seeing this game through Sora's eyes and kind of getting confused about like Naminé and Kairi and all that stuff. I remember being very confused about it as a kid, and that was just mainly because I didn't know who Kairi was. I just saw her on the box art, but I didn't really think anything of it, to be honest with you. When I played the game, I genuinely thought that Naminé was part of Sora's past, and it was a plot twist for me that she wasn't. Made me more interested to play Kingdom Hearts 1 and know the actual story. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was my introduction to the series, and I actually had a pretty good time. The funny thing about this, the Kingdom Hearts series, is that not everyone's gonna start at Kingdom Hearts 1. I know some people in my friend group that started playing on 358 over 2 days, the original one for the Nintendo DS. Now 358 over 2 days is definitely the saddest Kingdom Hearts game, by far, no questions asked. It's one of my favorite games for a reason. In fact, this is still one of the very few games that can get me to cry. And it actually doesn't even focus on Sora, it focuses on a new character named Roxas, which is a fan favorite, for me included. Obviously, I love Roxas, Axel, Xion, and everyone else in this game, and I love to see Riku's character progression in this game. You know, it's one of those things where this title definitely meant a lot to me growing up, and the story was very nostalgic for me because I was actually going through a very similar experience in school, and then summer vacation kind of came out of nowhere, and I played through this game, and yeah, it kind of hit like a shit ton of bricks. So I don't know, this game holds it's very dear to my heart, and I'm so glad I have this original cartridge copy. I do genuinely believe that this is not a game you should play after Chain of Memories. In fact, remember what I said about playing the games in release order. So I feel like you should play Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, and then play this game. Why this game is included in the 1.5 HD Remix collection, I honestly don't know. I still recommend playing the DS version, or at the very least, looking up the cutscenes on YouTube, just because I feel like you would have a generally better experience. I know the PS4 version of this HD movie collection added a few extra scenes with like Roxas battling the final boss. I kind of don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I don't know. There's just something about this particular version of the game that, I don't know, it's just, that maybe this is the nostalgia talking, but I still feel like it's genuinely a good play. Even if it can be a bit boring sometimes, I feel like that's the point. I feel like it helps immerse you into the world. So don't start with this one, but definitely don't skip it in the series as well. I mean, you're going to say that about a lot of games, don't skip them, but there are a couple of games I could probably talk about that you could probably skip, but this is not one of them. This is the one that you definitely want to play for some great payoffs in the third installment. Now, the next few games are going to be really fun to talk about because if you're a long-time Kingdom Hearts fan, you're definitely going to remember this. There was a time where we were actually going to get this collection, this 2.5 like highly anticipated collection that had Kingdom Hearts 2, it had Birth by Sleep HD, and it also had a cutscene theater of Recoded. and we were gonna get this collection video as just like a game and a pin. I was not part of the outrage. I was upset that we weren't getting things, but I was kind of used to it, like Japan getting exclusive deluxe collector's editions at this point. But I never thought in my entire life that, you know, Kingdom Hearts would actually get a really nice collector's edition, and this is the first time we got that. This is the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Collector's Edition. As you can see inside, you can see that this is the original pin we were going to get, and then inside you can see that we got this very cute Heartless plush. Now, I kind of forgot that this Heartless plush was in the box, and it's kind of the main reason why the box is as big as it is. But it's so cute. I mean, look at it. I mean, you know, these things are hard and like kind of annoying to fight in the game, but I don't know, just having one in person, just like, it's one of the best things, and it's actually a really well done plush. I love having this, actually. You can buy it at the Square Enix store by itself now, but I'm just glad I actually got this with the collector's edition. If I can get more of these, I definitely would. And of course, it did also come with an art book, which was not as nice as the 1.5 collector's edition. I think it's literally just a book that's included inside. And then we got the pin, and then we got the game in a steel case and all that stuff. So we definitely got a much better collector's edition than we anticipated. Of course, the biggest thing was the Heartless plush that was included, and the nice packaging as well. That somehow I was actually managing. I managed to like keep in good shape. I should probably get something to probably protect these a little bit better, but I don't know, it costs money and I don't have the time for that. Now let's go ahead and check out the steel case as well. And as you can see inside, this was the best surprise, I think, out of this collector's edition, is that you didn't just get 2.5. If you actually remove the packaging here, you got 1.5 as well. I was just so happy that we were able to get 1.5 and 2.5 in the same collector's edition. It kind of let me put my 1.5 like little collector art book aside, so I just kind of had two versions of that, but that's okay. That's what the steel book came with. Unfortunately, it didn't come with just like a regular case to put your game in, so you kind of have to use the steel case. You don't really have a choice in this particular case, but the case itself was really cool too, because it also separated the characters from 1.5 and 2.5 into two different casings. I really like that. It's a really nice touch. Nomura is always great with doing stuff like this, honestly, like making like kind of like elaborate artwork and everything. Kingdom Hearts 2, regarded as the best Kingdom Hearts game of all time for a lot of people. Some people not really, but for me personally, I would actually say Kingdom Hearts 2 is the most nostalgic game in the series. I actually played through Kingdom Hearts 2 all the way through before I actually finished Kingdom Hearts 1. I think it's the main reason being is just because I had played Chain of Memories, so I knew what was going to happen at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, and I didn't feel really compelled to go back to it. Kingdom Hearts 2 felt like a great continuation, and I was excited to see what was coming up next, right? So I played Chain of Memories, I felt like I was caught up and everything, and then it started off with Roxas, and I was confused as hell. And again, this was also at my cousin's house at the time, after I played Chain of Memories and a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 1. They also had Kingdom Hearts 2, and I ended up playing through that and had a wonderful experience. Honestly, if someone says it's their favorite Kingdom Hearts game, I can't even really blame them, because it does so much right with just combat and in a lot of ways story as well. Not a lot of people love the story of Kingdom Hearts 2. They think it gets a little bit too convoluted, but for me personally, I really love the story of Kingdom Hearts 2. And I'm not like just saying that out of nostalgia, because I like I like the stories from other games a little bit more that come after this. But the story of Kingdom Hearts 2 is very solid, and there's a lot of great character development and stuff. This sets up a lot of payoffs that we'll see later on in the series, and this actually set like a lot of kind of like the establishing tones for the rest of the series as well, in terms of introducing Organization 13 and Nobodies and kind of like new Disney worlds and making Sora a little bit older. There's a lot of cool things about Kingdom Hearts 2 that I can kind of talk about and go on and on about. But to be perfectly honest, I'm trying to keep this video as spoiler free as possible, because I want to have a separate video where I just talk about Kingdom Hearts and each story individually and my thoughts on it, maybe going through the series again one day. The other game in this collection is, of course, Birth by Sleep. Now, Birth by Sleep is a fantastic game. It's not quite my favorite Kingdom Hearts game, just because the combat system is still a little bit hard for me to get into, but story-wise, I still love it. You know, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep was honestly a really cool way to kind of tie a lot of things together, and I will honestly say from Kingdom Hearts 1, with every release up to Birth by Sleep, yeah, it was a little confusing, but if you had played those 5 games, you knew the story of Kingdom Hearts and it didn't get too convoluted. The series was fairly, like, it wasn't that confusing. It was actually fairly like understandable if you played through each game and like got a chance to know the characters and see what Nomura was explaining. Birth by Sleep was a really great prequel and establishes a lot of the lore of Kingdom Hearts and kind of establishes a lot of like the main villains and everything. So I think it's an important game to play. It has a really good story. It's not quite as sad as 358 over 2 days, but it's definitely like the second saddest in the series. Like it definitely bums you out, man. Especially with some of the characters, you're just like, man, he's just a kid. Why'd you do that to him? Why'd you do that to my boy? All of these games that I mentioned so far, I feel like you need to play or at least experience to understand the full scope of the series. That leads me up to Recoded, which I don't think you would need to play. There's like a small little thing with Maleficent and Pete that I don't want to get into. It was something about a book of prophecies and everything. And that's when it gets a little bit too confusing for me personally. Honestly, it's just because that still has not been established as well, even in the phone game. Yes, I've played the entire phone game, unfortunately, so I do know what freaking happens, and I'm still waiting for the other phone title, Dark Road, to finish so I can understand what the hell's going on, but that's a story for another day. What I'm trying to say is, between 1.5 and 2.5 and the games that are included, you can understand the story fairly well with these titles. I think people have problems with the later titles. I personally don't. I still like them, but I see the issues with them, and I see how some of those issues kind of like just kind of expanded a little bit too much, but that's okay. It's Nomura being Nomura. He's gonna get crazier and crazier. It's what he wants to do. Again, I still love the man, so I'll just respect him for his vision. You get to be in the video today. Okay, so moving on to the next set of titles, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD. No wait, give me a moment. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. There we go. So Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue contains a remake of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance for the Nintendo 3DS, which I will go over. It also contains a demo, I guess, for Kingdom Hearts 3, a prologue to the game, if you will. Goes over the character of Aqua and what she's been doing since the events of Birth by Sleep, which I won't mention. And then after that is another cutscene movie of the phone game, but not of the phone game in your perspective. See, this is what I mean. After Recoded, things just get a little bit messy when trying to explain the series to a newcomer. When I'm talking to people generally, I'm just like, just play 1.5, then 2.5, and then from there you'll understand why 2.8 is necessary, I guess, in the lineup. But yeah, I don't know. This freaking game. Let's go ahead and start with Dream Drop Distance for the Nintendo 3DS. I still have not played the HD version, so I don't know if it fixes any of the issues from this game. But honestly, the issues from Dream Drop Distance are not gameplay related. The gameplay is fine. It's obviously not the best that the series has to offer, but it's fine. It's a Nintendo 3DS game. I can cut it some slack. Now, the problem for me with Dream Drop Distance is, again, not the gameplay. And it's not even the Disney worlds they chose to put. It's the story towards the end, when they start to introduce time travel. Once they start to introduce time travel into the series, things get a little bit wonky for me. I still, to this day, don't think they managed to explain time travel that well. However, the final fight in the game, pretty fucking cool. And the final bosses, the bosses that you fight in a row, all very, very well done. And I actually like some of the main villains that they bring back in a weird way, and the music in this, very underrated. Dream Drop Distance is still a game worth playing. The Dream Eaters are really cute too. I know people gave them a lot of shit, but for me personally, they were just like cute little beings that you would just like beat up, and I don't know. They were fun. They were like a weird, cute way of having Heartless, and there's a nice little plot twist with Riku and Sora and Dreams and all this stuff. Dream Drop Distance is not a bad game. I just wanted to say that. This is still a good Kingdom Hearts game. I would actually rate it like a 7 out of 10. Story-wise, maybe a 6, but gameplay-wise, just as a game, it's still fun to play through. Honestly, I really like this one. So the final game that we have to address in the series, I'm holding up the game because I need to know how to pronounce this. Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage. Now, if I'm just to talk about the demo and my experience with it before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, this game only made me more excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 because it was so fun to play. It actually really got me invested into the experience. Originally, this was going to be kind of a similar thing that Nomura did with Kingdom Hearts 2, where you start off the game playing as a different character that's not Sora. But I guess he thought, you know what, it'd be kind of weird if I don't bundle in something with Dream Drop Distance HD, so here you go. Then that's what we got. We got that final chapter prologue in the form of this game. Gave us another reason to buy it. Gonna say that I'm kind of glad that this is separate from the game because the opening to Kingdom Hearts 3, pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie, I really like the opening to that game, so I'm not really gonna complain about not having this into in Kingdom Hearts 3. Would be nice. I wouldn't complain about it if it was there, but I'm also not gonna cry about it. The last thing, Kingdom Hearts Key back cover. Again, this is very confusing, but the mobile game takes place thousands of years before Sora is around, and just talking about old Keyblade wielders, kind of like, if you think about it, in a lot of ways, Kingdom Hearts mirrors Star Wars in a lot of ways, and Nomura's a big fan of Star Wars, so I'm not surprised. This is like, imagine like back in the day when all the Jedis, like kind of like prequel era, like all the Jedis were around, before there were only like a few left, you know, like at post episode 3. That's when this game takes place. It takes place when there's like a lot of Keyblade wielders around. You are a Keyblade wielder, you're one of the many, and yeah, that's very interesting, right? But the thing that's kind of interesting as well with this particular title is that this doesn't even cover that story. Nope, it covers another story. So this game, even if you play through the mobile game, you still gotta watch this cutscene theater. It's like a whole new movie that kind of places the groundwork for those games, and it's also like necessary viewing for Kingdom Hearts 3. So this kind of whole package is kind of necessary to get us started with Kingdom Hearts 3. There's a lot of build up to Kingdom Hearts 3, as you can see. That takes us to Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I have the deluxe edition. I did not get the super deluxe edition with the Sora Play Arts Kai figure at the time, because honestly at the time I was going through some shit at the time and I couldn't afford it. But it does come with another art book, which is very similar to the one for Kingdom Hearts 1.5. It comes with the game and it comes with the deluxe steel book. I actually really like this artwork for Sora. It's very reminiscent of the artwork from the original game. I feel like it does a really great job showing how much Sora has grown through the years. What can I say about this game that everyone on the internet hasn't already said? Personally, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, I feel like if you've played all these games up to the series and you are a fan of the series, you're gonna like Kingdom Hearts 3. Some of you won't, but a lot of you will. It was a very great and enjoyable experience. I cried many times towards the end. There's this middle portion that focuses on the Disney stuff. I feel like it's a lot of not a lot of progression is going on in this middle section, to be perfectly honest with you. The whole Kingdom Hearts series discussion and talking about the story and everything, that's a separate video. I want to stress that, mainly just because I know I'm going to get some comments that I didn't talk about the series enough, but I'm really making this just to show off my collection and give you my quick thoughts on the series. Those are all the games I have in the collection. These are some of my thoughts. Do I think it's worth getting into? I would say try 1.5. If you like what you play, move forward. If you don't like what you're playing, just stop. That brings us to actually one game that I missed. Melody of Memory. I got the Nintendo Switch version, but that's just because I wanted a rhythm game that I can play on the go for Kingdom Hearts. And this is literally just recapping the events from Kingdom Hearts 1 to 3 in a rhythm game with some story stuff that's significant for the next game towards the end. It's about like an hour of content of actual like story things that are happening, but at the end of the day and at its core, it's just a rhythm game featuring all the music within the Kingdom Hearts series. But this is going to be a nice lead up into Kingdom Hearts 4, which surprisingly is already announced, and it makes me feel old that Kingdom Hearts 3, the game that I waited about a decade for, maybe more than a decade now that I'm thinking about it, is now like gonna be like the previous installment and they're moving on to the next one. Now, we've talked about the games and some of the cool things like the plushes and the clothing that I've gotten for the series, but there's something that also means a lot to me, and it's one of the reasons why I love the Kingdom Hearts series, and it has a lot to do with the music. If you guys don't know, and I would be surprised if you guys don't know by now, but Yoko Shimomura is my favorite video game composer, hell, my favorite composer of all time. She's literally made music that has made me cry, and I just love her work. Not just within the Kingdom Hearts series, even though that is where my brain was introduced to her, but honestly, just her work as a collective. If you haven't played like games like Radiant Historia, or just listened to some of her solo work that she didn't even release into like a video game soundtrack, just some of her original composition, very beautiful music, and I really highly recommend you to just check out her other work that are outside of Kingdom Hearts. I've had the pleasure of going to the Kingdom Hearts World Orchestra quite a number of times. Every time it's come into the LA area, I've always gone. We're usually the first to get it, and every time they've come to the LA area, they show off. We're like the first to see these exciting new trailers for the games. A lot of people want to be there, and personally, I'm just glad I'm able to experience all that. I've been to every single one so far. I've not missed one. So you guys are gonna have to forgive me because this is not something I'm planning to open, but this is the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra World Tour album. This has all the tracks from the Kingdom Hearts original orchestral world tour in this. I've already popped it into my computer, and I put the cellophane wrapping because I don't want to mess it up. And the reason being is because I got this shot signed by the queen herself, Yoko Shimomura. And I'm so glad that I was able to get this signed because, and just meet her in person, it was such an like nerve-wracking event for me because I gave her a composition I made just for her. I didn't want her to share it with anybody. I just like, please don't share this with anyone. This composition is for you. I unfortunately don't speak that great Japanese, but I hope I can speak to you through my music. That's how I spoke to her. It was really sweet moment. She looked at it. She was really like, she like clutched it to her heart, and that made me want to cry. I even got to take a picture with her and everything, and I'm so glad I was able to get this signed. I will honestly like treasure this always. I never want to unwrap it for the reason like I just don't want like the signature fading or anything. Again, I got this already downloaded onto my computer, so I don't feel like the need to like get this touched up or anything. I just like it where it is. Unfortunately, the second time I got to see the World Orchestra, this is World of Tres. This was for Kingdom Hearts 3 and some of the music that was included in that game. Again, during that time I was having some difficulties with finances, and I couldn't really afford those like premium tickets where you got to meet her again. And the other thing I got is the 1.5 and 2.5 HD soundtrack. I also got this signed the second time I saw Yoko Shimomura live. They did not have like a second orchestral world tour album. They sold the same one they did last year, so I was like, hey, might as well get this one signed. And it has all the music from Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5. This one also means a lot to me because this is the music that introduced me to her work and everything, so to have this signed means the world to me. And the final thing in my collection is also from the orchestral world tour, and it is this super awesome baton keyblade thing. I love this thing. It's so cute and everything, and usually I don't unbox stuff like this. I like to keep it in the box, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. Hey, I'm a composer, I'm a musician, and this is something I really want to show off. I actually keep it above my desk at all times so my cat doesn't really get to it. It's supposed to be just like a conductor, but like, you know, keyblade and stuff. It's really cute and I really like it. I don't have a replica keyblade just yet, but that's something I do plan to get eventually. The only thing that scares me about this is honestly, it's quite fragile, and I just worry about breaking it, so it's gonna go back up there as soon as I'm done with this video. So there it is, my very small and very humble Kingdom Hearts collection. Now, I'm gonna make a video in the future talking about my favorite moments in the series and just what I think about each title individually, so I hope you guys stick around for that. But I thought it would just be really nice to kind of go over the series and my collection, and I think it's kind of nice that Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming out pretty soon. I actually kind of like that I don't have to wait another 10-15 years for this title. I'm glad that there's not a lot of like side stories that we need to go through and everything, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for staying with me this long. I really enjoyed making this one. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad you guys stuck around to the end. Just thank you. It really means a lot. I'll see you next time in another video. Take care.